So my first house project on this was here, on this layout. A lot of people use paper mache, or they've got different methods, but the one I'm about to show you has nothing to do with paper mache, and it's all polystyrene. It's really straightforward, it's really cheap, you can do it with recycled materials. And if you could do me a favour, subscribe to my channel and you can see more of this type of thing. By the way, do you like my wee footpath? Pretty cool. So if you look here, you'll see the sort of foundations of the hill. Underneath is polystyrene, PVA glued to the surface. On the top is plaster bandage. Now, what does that look like? It looks like this. You'll get it for eBay. £6 I think it is, but there's about, well, there's 4 rolls in that, it says. So get yourself some plaster bandage, some PVA glue, and if you hang on, a cheap tester of paint from wherever you go to get your cheap testers of paint. And we cover this with the brown so that when you sprinkle on the grass, it leaves behind what looks like soil underneath. So what have we got here? We've got some water, PVA glue, plaster bandage, some random bits of polystyrene donated by a friend that I've got, scissors and a wee brush. And that is all you need to start making hills. Now, straight into it, I'll show you where I start. Initially, if you want it to look good, try and follow the curve. So you don't want any straight lines. Nature doesn't really have straight lines, so you would do that. Maybe build it up a little bit more. Have a look and see what looks best for you. I like to have them in sort of gradients. If you want overhangs, that's fine, but you know, oh, there's a straight line, can't have that, so we break it away. Create a little gully in between, no big deal. Now this is all going to be painted over, so we can break it into little bits to make it look as if the hill's gradiating away. I'm not sure gradiating is a word, but I've used it. Get your PVA glue. Now you've got the base for it, and literally slap it on. Try and get the edges so they don't turn away. Don't worry if you make a mess. Slap it down, and by tomorrow that'll have taken on the base, and you can't move them. Because you can see these ones over here, they're absolutely solid. Again, for this, give it a bit, set that on, that'll be stuck by tomorrow, and so on and so forth. Fairly straightforward. Now you might think, well, that looks rubbish and it's not going to turn out very well, but I'll show you an example at the end of this video of how it does turn out. And for me, I've seen lots of different ways to do it, and this is my preferred method. I've seen paper mache, which is, I don't know, it's not for me. It doesn't really give a pleasing aesthetic at the back end. Of course, polystyrene's completely free, so there's no issue with that. And it's a good way to get rid of your Christmas stuff. Okay, stage 1 done. Now, stage 2 is adding plaster bandage. 2 options. You can either leave that to dry to tomorrow, but that would make a very boring YouTube video, or I could show you how to do it now, and if it turns out to be a disaster because I didn't let the glue dry properly, then we'll soon find out about it tomorrow. So, opening this up, what does plaster bandage look like? I'll show you. far as I know it's the same stuff. They use, there's a Scottish word called a stookie. If you broke your arm, they wrap this round and round to hold it in place. Now same concept, they wet it, and I'm going to bring this over here. I'm not sure if it sits well, but you'll see what I'm doing with the bandage and how easy it is to get it in the first place. So cut it into strips, dip it in the water, and immediately it's soaked, and then you can just wrap that around your normally very dry and very stable hill. However, we don't have a dry and stable hill, so we'll just need to make do today. Again, just keep cutting it, dipping it in the water, and then wrapping it. And the hill shape will begin to take effect. Don't worry about how perfect or imperfect it is, the static grass will hide it almost entirely, and again you'll see in the examples at the end how much it hides it. And I go back to what I said before, nothing in nature is perfect, so make sure you put imperfections into it, because when you see, you do get little threads coming off of the plaster bandage, and when you do, you can tailor it into little shapes that actually add to the aesthetic of it. So you can see here I'm just going to overlap on this last one and then lead it in down one side, and it gives a wee interesting transition from this end piece to the next one. And I will finish this and stop the video, and then you can understand what happens next. So you can see down here I'm just letting this dry. I've given it a wee tidy up round about here, cleaned it all up after I'm finished. So I'm going to jump from this one to this one because it's ready for painting. It's been drying for, well, a couple of weeks to be honest. I've never got back to it, so I'm going to time lapse that because you could be here for a wee while if I don't, so hang on. So that is that. That's how you get from this stage that I showed you to that stage, and the next stage is over here where the hills are. So I'll take you and show you the hills, see what it looks like with the finished article. So if you leave them a little bare, they can look like this. You can add flowers, trees, all that sort of stuff, do what you like. My wee crane that I made the other night, where you can detail it for the rock. I've still to dry brush that so it looks less shiny. I've never liked it because of how shiny it is, so if I get a brush with very little light grey paint on it, it will come out like rock. And that's a wee project for another time. Anyway, like I said earlier, remember to follow if you don't mind, and you'll get to see more stuff like this.